Welcome back to your Ohio State prop bets for the week. Doug Lesmerises, Nathan Baird, Stephen Means. Listen, we did these in week 1 against Notre Dame. Nathan was right on his and made money. Stephen and I were wrong on ours. Week 2, there were no prop bets. I don't know, Arkansas State, people didn't care. We found some for Toledo. So we're going to give you our favorite prop bets. And I'm going to start because I love my prop bet. It is CJ Stroud, 2.5 passing touchdowns. And I would hammer this over. Now, the issue is it's minus 200 to bet the over, which means if you bet $10, you only get 15 back. You're only winning 5. You're only winning half as much because it's such an obvious bet. But they set it at 2.5. It's an overreaction, man. It is an absolute overreaction because, Stephen, in week 1, you took CJ Stroud over 3.5 against Notre Dame. Now it's only over 2.5 against Toledo. Here's the thing. Notre Dame wanted to limit possessions in that game. In the Ohio State-Notre Dame game, Ohio State only had 9 possessions. That's one of the reasons CJ Stroud didn't throw 4 touchdown passes. Last year when Toledo played Notre Dame, each team had 13 possessions. Toledo wasn't trying to slow down a great opponent, right? I don't think that's going to happen. When Toledo played UMass last week, UMass had 12 possessions. Toledo had 11. I don't think Toledo's going to try to slow down Ohio State. I'm choking on an apple. I'm not getting verklempt about it. So I hope CJ gets over 2.5. He deserves it. I'm just choking on a nut. I love the over, Nathan. I love the over on this. Career starts for CJ Stroud, 14 career starts. He's gone at least 3 touchdown passes 9 times. 5 times he's gone 2 or fewer. If he gets 3 touchdown passes against Toledo, it's Toledo. Here are the times that CJ Stroud did not throw 3 touchdown passes in a game. Notre Dame tried to slow it down. Michigan last year, great defense and the snow. Nebraska last year, weird. Penn State last year, really good defense. Tulsa last year, his arm was falling off. So the only way I think he doesn't get it is if it's like a weird game like Nebraska was last year. If like still Jackson Smith and Jigba is out. Nathan, I love it. I love it. It's a lock. It's with someone else's money, it's a lock. Over 2.5 passing touchdowns. That's my prop bet of the week. And I'm going to go get this nut out of my throat. Nathan, where are you going?
One of the reasons why I think that number might be that low, though, is because of Toledo's success against the pass this year. I'm going TreVeyon Henderson over 92.5 yards rushing in this game. Toledo's greatest defensive success of late has come against the pass. They had a top 20 defense nationally against the pass last season. Right now, they're allowing 2.7 passing yards attempt, which is stupid. I know it's only 2 games. I know they've played nobody, but that's crazy. Ryan Day's been talking more and more about taking what teams give them. And we saw that last week. Arkansas State shifted to a 3-man front, dropped 8, and that's kind of when Ohio State started to attack with the run. So TreVeyon Henderson's averaging 7.1 yards per carry. I think if he gets 15 carries, that means he only needs like 6.2 yards to break this number. And one big run can prop up a rushing performance. And I think that's a fair thing to expect from him at this stage. He had a 41-yarder last week. You can kind of assume that he'll get up into the 20s or 30s with like 1 jaunt per game. So I think this is a fairly easy number to get. I think they may also need him to not go out and get 20, 25 carries like they'll need later this year, but they're going to need more than just like 10 carries, which we saw last week. He's going to need to get out on the field and be a bigger weapon in the offense because this is a pretty good defense.
All right, and over on TreVeyon Henderson. Stephen, what you got?
I think, first of all, I think Nathan's is interesting basically because he has not gone over in any of the 2 weeks. So the only question is TreVeyon going to get the ball enough to go over? Not necessarily is he capable of doing it to where they're splitting up those carries there. I am going with Jackson Smith-Njigba over under 0.5 touchdown catches, and basically his first full game back if they do decide to let him play this week. I think that's pretty easy. I would be shocked if he doesn't have a touchdown catch on their opening series just because they're trying to get him involved as quickly as possible and maybe make up for lost time here a little bit because that is CJ's best weapon. And so I think this is probably, you're saying the CJ Stroud one's pretty easy. I think this one's even easier because you often see this in sports when a guy comes back from an injury, they almost force feed him the ball to get him in a groove as quickly as possible.
I did ask our friend Tyler Shoemaker, as you guys watch this, try betting the Buckeyes. It's our Friday gambling podcast about Ohio State and other aspects of college football with Tyler Shoemaker, the official bookmaker of Buckeye Talk. I asked him, what if you bet that and Jackson Smith-Njigba doesn't play? And he said it would be probably most books would be a no contest bet that you get your money back, because that's what would make me nervous is like he warms up and still doesn't play. And you're like, well, I bet the over. What are you doing? So, the way you'd get really hurt here is if like he played the first series and then didn't, but like he's either going to play or not play. So I guess that the point of that would be don't let his threat of maybe not 100% chance of playing scare you away from the bet, because I think otherwise, Steven, I think your reasoning is right on, right? It's just a matter of you got to make sure the guy's going to be out there. Those were our prop bets. Read cleveland.com/OSU. And of course, listen to our Buckeye Talk podcast. For Nathan and Steven, I'm Doug.